Hello dear traders and welcome to another update on the market. For today I decided to cover Euro versus US dollar. I will speak about the gold market, US dollar index, crude oil and Bitcoin versus US dollar. I will start with the Euro versus US dollar first. So basically, to update on my previous forecast yesterday, we had this basically what we expected, since this was we alerted you that we got a strong downside cycle on the euro, and that we basically were sitting on a bear flag just near the important resistances yesterday. And since then, basically, market sold off and went lower for another 50 to 55 pips. So it's basically unfolding pretty well relative to my previous forecast. And our market is trading below the previous day low, and we still have a potential to test that important pivot level in the daily time frame. Again, this pivot low is from March 13th and March 23rd, right, from 2020, right? And that is area around 1.0640. So market basically stopped at 74 and got rejection about 15 ticks or so. And now it seems like it's going to retest recent swing lows. So this can also act like resistance, and previous day low can act like resistance now. So I still see potential for further downside towards the 1.0640. In case of the bigger downside break, which is also a possibility, if we clear that 640 and we have no problem, no bigger reaction from buyers, no exhaustion, then we can consult even higher degree, like we can go even to weekly. And we can find we have also important pivot lows there. Even from December 2016, some low from 2015 December and April 2015 low. So we have plenty of the lows there waiting, and 560 area, 1.0500, and this key low at 1.0355. Speaking of, so my advice is basically to watch for selling opportunities still, similar to yesterday, watching for selling opportunities on the intraday rallies and eventual downside objective at 1.0640. Speaking of the gold market, I alerted you yesterday that we have potential for a sell-off, and this intraday chart did look very, very continuational yesterday, so we had that sell-off. Market reached our first objective at 1894, 1895. So it reached our objective that we spoke about, but seems like on the rally, market is very tired on the rally, so there is no big reaction from the buyers, and seems like this looks like another bear flag. Seems like we can retest, and the gold can retest 1892. If that's the case, then I can also see possibility that market can attack 1886. If we go to the daily time frame, this is where we are. We still didn't test 1889. We got also clustered the lows, some swing lows at 1878, 1880. So there is a definitely possibility for that in the next period. So from my perspective, gold is not looking that spectacular for upside. I see no divergence. The rally looks like a pretty flaggish, mostly like a bear flag whole overnight session and beginning of the Europe session. So I can see at least retest of this 1891 and eventual test of 1886, 1880. So watch for selling opportunities because the bear flag is present there. Speaking of the dollar index, as I alerted many days ago and yesterday, I don't see any divergence or any big problem at this stage where the dollar index is trading at this level. Market is one time frame trading higher. Very strong US dollar index. Basically, the strength is the trend is dictating from many months ago. It seems like an upside cycle. No big divergences in the play. Intraday looks like we had a flat overnight session, and we have open drive on the Europe session. Again, strength on the US dollar index, you get a continuation of that. Speaking of the larger degree, just to show you the larger time frame picture, if we go, for example, for monthly, you'll find out basically that dollar index is just doing the sideways for last few years, actually for last 6 to 7 years. We established an important high around 104 level, 104 area, and important support at 89. So market is probably going, short-term speaking, to retest that 104 again. It's playing like a tennis game here, and seems like market is really trying, and I don't see any reason why we will not reach that in the next short-term period. So strength of the US dollar, I still expect further strength. Crude oil basically sold off of this contraction. We had a breakout with 3 bar, so this is the second day. It looks like a bear flag on a 2-hour time frame and on the 4-hour time frame. So we had no divergence on this sell-off. We had some kind of exhaustion here, some kind of the drift on the 2-hour time frame, but this looks like market traded very flat. It tried to rebuy and it failed, and it looks like we can have a resell and eventually retest previous day low at 95.20 and the key low at 93 level. So watch for selling opportunities on the crude oil. And Bitcoin versus US dollar, again, I still see the down cycle present. Market reacted from the previous low, managed to rally all the way to the 40,600-700 mark. And at this stage, I still cannot say that we basically had any kind of bigger reversal or something. Now we're losing some tempo here on intraday. We are trading flat. If we start a sell-off process and do the rally and start with some rally, with no big volume, then market can even trade more lower. But for now, I will say we're basically flat and kind of exhausted from yesterday's rally. So still downside, because the downside trend is active, is favorable on the Bitcoin. That will be all for this update. I hope that you did enjoy. Have a good day, trade safe, and see you tomorrow morning.